The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. Caution. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shea's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shea's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shea's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shea's Paranormal Chat. I'm trying to get in the habit of saying welcome to episode 25. Today is March 25th, 2019. As far as I know, that is the correct date. Then again, I don't know the day of the week half the time, but I'm pretty sure since it's written in front of me, that is it. Yeah. I start off great. I'm just, So, of course, we have the most beautiful Kelly McCarville, as always, tonight. Hello, Kelly.
You're a crazy lady. Hello.
I'm crazy. Kelly, you're here by choice, so that makes you crazier for putting up with me.
This is true, but it's the brain share thing. This is the only time that we get to share in. And
girl, I'm like typing stuff last night in a different show, and I get halfway done typing it, and she's already spit it out, or I'm typing it. It was so I'm like, Kelly, get out of my head, girl. And it was
but it's fun in there.
Stuff.
It's
like,
so much fun in there.
Yeah, we're both like, you're not going to like my opinion. You're going to hate me for it. And I'm like, that's what I just said, word for word. The same thing. Started off with, you're not going to like this, but this is my opinion. So.
We just spend entirely too much time together. But I love it. I love it.
And of course, we have back with us the famous Dr. Gina Marie from Girls vs. Ghosts Media. How you doing, girl?
Hi, everybody. Excited to be on with both of you, and I haven't had a chance to share a show with Kelly, so that's super cool since we're both on Girls vs. Ghosts. So it's going to be a good night. I'm excited.
It is. It's going to be a good night. We have people
and
already in chat here.
I'm in chat. Somehow I figured out how to get in chat. That's amazing.
Yeah, the first time, Spreaker Chat's the first time you go into it, it's a little difficult. Once you favorite a show, it's so easy to get in. But I'm on 25 plus almost 10 shows later, and that's not counting the ones I co-hosted before on Spreaker.
Right.
And I still, if I haven't favorited a show, it takes me 3 minutes to find a show. They need to fix that. But the chat in Spreaker is awesome, so it makes up for it.
I do love the chat in Spreaker. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm in it. I'm pretty sure I can't comment. I'm in it. I'm in it. I can't send a comment, but I'm in the chat. Oh, I did it. Hi, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm in
there
the
she
chat.
is.
I see her. So I'm going to do...
This is my assistant. That's amazing.
Once you get in, it's pretty easy. I I'm going to do a quick few shout outs. I do them in the beginning at the show. Kelly usually ends up doing them at the end because I screw it up at the end. So of course we have Miss Gina Marie in there. We have Miss Kelly McCarville. We have Mama Pat, who's awesome. We have Matthew. Hello, Rihanna. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy it. And of course we have Miss Kim Purvis. That's who we have so far. So
Kim's got to have a gold star, man. She is always the first person in chat.
She has my gold star.
Kim. Gold star.
She has mine. I am a huge fan of Kim Purvis. Let me tell you.
She's a good people.
She is. She's a good people. She's a good investigator. Good soul. Good support system. Good everything. I mean that.
I'm really. You girls do the ghost hunts and things. I've done one, just only one, and I really want to do more. Like, they seem like so amazing. Definitely,
they are amazing. They're hard work.
Yeah.
They're hard work.
It's a lot of work.
But
and it's not always comfortable, but yeah.
Yep.
Well, it looks fun, and like I said, I've only done one, and it was kind of like, it was with friends from, my medium friend, and it wasn't like you guys do. It wasn't kind of like that, but now I never really had an interest until I joined Girls versus Ghosts, and I'm watching all you guys do these, and I'm like, this seems so amazing. Like, I have this new interest where I'm dying to do this.
It's super fun. We have a good time.
The thing with ghost, you say ghost hunting, I'll say paranormal investigating. Is that you have to remember you're there 8 to 12 hours. Example.
At least.
Yeah. And you guys see a 20-minute clip on Facebook or YouTube, you don't realize the other 10 hours that we're sitting there talking, doing nothing. But
right,
minutes,
freezing our heinies off,
yes,
or sweating to death in the dark, in the dirt,
yes,
with bugs. Yeah, it's not nearly as glamorous as the shows make it look. But yeah, get that one piece of data. And
yes.
I caught myself, and it's totally worth it. You don't want to see
it does look super cool, and it looks. I get the whole sitting there for a long time. That must be horrible. But you're right. I don't see that. I only see like all the cool stuff.
Right.
It's worth it in the end. I'm telling you. As long as you're patient, it's worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe one day I will do it.
You will. And we'll be watching you on your YouTube channel. Being like, this is my first paranormal investigation. Here we go.
You bring me something. Sorry, I'm talking to my kid.
We're doing something June 22nd, some weird weekends, and I think we're adding a ghost hunt, so maybe I'll get a chance to do something then. So that would be cool.
Nice. You'll have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah. It seems like so far away, but even when I was waiting to be on this show, I remember when we scheduled it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so far away. And like, here we are, like we're on.
Yeah, it goes by very quick. It does. Like, it's like every day, one day drags on, but then you look back and it's like, wait, that was like 3 months ago. What happened?
I know. But I mean, it's spring. Today was like our first nice day, and I was like, oh my God, this is great, because now it's going to go so fast. Like, oh,
that's right. If anybody doesn't know, Gina is also on the East Coast in New York, so she's an East Coast girl. We had a beautiful day on the East Coast today.
Yay!
It was awesome. Hello, Wolf. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, gotta shout out to Adam. Adam deserves all the love.
Is that his real name? I guess I didn't know that.
Yes, his real name is Adam. It's Wolf on Facebook and everything.
Well, there you go.
If you get followed by A on Twitter, that's Adam. He doesn't know I know, but I know.
Oh, I wondered who that was.
Yeah.
Oh, she's spilling all your secrets, Wolf.
Yes.
But now I know you better.
I have Benji calling him Adam.
I haven't met him, but I know that we're Instagram friends. Yeah.
Yes. Wolf is so awesome. He could see, I'll be like, hey, follow this person. If he sees it somewhere, he'll go and check them out. He usually ends up following them because I have very good taste in people.
Well, yeah.
But he at least checks them out, so.
He's checking them out.
Okay, so back to the show here.
Okay.
I think you thought I was going to keep you on track, Pish Posh.
Yeah, we pretend we keep each other on track, but we really don't.
I think just heard our girls together.
So fun. So anybody that doesn't know, Gina is a psychic medium. And let's see, it was 2 weeks ago she was on. I think it was like March 1st she was on. And we were talking about her. And actually we talked about everything under the sun. She's back tonight to talk about soul contracts. And up front, I will say, this was my idea, but I don't necessarily believe in soul contracts. I don't not believe in them, but I am fascinated by them. So I want to learn everything I can. So I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm not saying I don't believe in it, but I'm going to suck up all the information I get.
But you're gathering the information to make an opinion. I love it.
I am.
Yeah, see, that's so true. Sometimes I won't believe in something. And, I work with a lot of different psychics and mediums. The one store I work at here in New York, I'm there one day a week, and they do everything under the sun, from Reiki to crystal. They do everything. And I'm like, what's this crystal? And I'm like, that's the pink one. I'm like,
me.
I don't know, but I'm like so willing to learn. And even though I definitely might be the skeptic, like, I don't know if I believe in this crystal healing, but like, I'm always open to possibly saying, okay, well, there might be something with that. Like, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. I'm a skeptic as far as my own mediumship goes. Like, I'll be talking to a spirit and I'll say, well, I need to know more. Well, what's your name? And I need to know this, like, because I don't even believe myself at times. Like, I'm my own skeptic. I'm like, it's very difficult for me. I always have to question spirit and get as much information. And I'm never satisfied unless I get a lot of information, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe I just thought I heard, like,
I think we have to be that way, though,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because like sometimes I even in my own profession as a therapist, I'm always like, did I do that right? It's just so much questioning, and it's always like, I need to prove it. I need to prove it. I need that scientific proof, and it's hard being a psychic or a medium because you don't always have that scientific proof.
Right.
So with the soul contracts, like you were saying, and that's a topic which I love. I'm all about the soul contracts. Like, if you hear me talk or you listen to my show, even if my show is not about soul contracts, I'm on it. Like, it's hashtag. It used to be hashtag pass your effing test, but we're trying to clean up a little bit, clean up me on Girls versus Ghosts. So it's changed.
Clean up me. I'm trying to do the same thing on this network, and I'm an owner of the network, so I feel ya.
So it's now hashtag pass your test. But occasionally my autocorrect will put pass your effing test, because that relates to soul contracts for me. So that's like, I remember our producer, Charlotte, she wanted us all to give her like a quote from, what we say. And that's my quote, because I'm all about soul contracts. Like, I'm 100% believer in them. Like, I don't even need any more proof about soul contracts. I'm on it. I'm a believer. My guides, spirit guides, my clients, I'm good. There's no more skeptic in me on those. They exist. Yes.
I call myself a skeptical true believer when it comes to paranormal.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And like I said, I question 90% of everything, and there's probably 10% of things that, and not just paranormal, but anything that I'm completely don't question.
Yeah.
Well, and Mama Pat said the same thing. We're skeptical of our own investigations, even, but that's a good trait, and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Because if you believe every tiny little thing, how does that make you any sort of investigator? Because we're supposed to be investigating. We're supposed to look for other possibilities, and you rule out things, in my mind. I'm also
if you don't
not
ever
medium
debunk anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like, just like even research or science, like, you do like even writing papers. I remember I had a quote. I remember when I had to start writing papers and quoting things, because I used to, in college, I used to forge a lot. Oh, God, I've graduated now, so I can say it. So I used to forge a lot and take right from the book. And then I got in grad school.
I don't know. I hear Becky's looking for bail money, so you better be careful.
That's right. Oh, my God. Yeah, I would just go get a bunch of books. I forged a lot. And then grad school was a whole different thing, because now I had to cite everything. And I was like, oh, my God, I have to cite this. I can't forge it.
Yeah,
so,
I hated footnotes.
Oh, my God, me too.
Yeah, it was just like, and that's kind of like how I feel now. Like, I don't have the book to cite it from or anything, but I need the spirit I'm talking to. Or even when I first started talking to the council or channeling a higher energy, like, I first thought, I didn't even know who I was talking to. I thought I was just using a psychic channel. And then, little by little, and it wasn't really until the last couple years probably I've always talked to like the dead relatives. But then when I started talking to the council, and I didn't even know, I asked them their name, they said the council. And then weirdly enough, I had some book by, and I forget her name now, some psychic that's passed now, Sylvia or something. And she was saying she was talking to the council. I was like, oh my God, like that's, and I never knew. But that's, for me, there was no, how am I going to prove this? And it's just like a client after client will say, yes, that's right, or that's right. But I can't help but sometimes think I'm a complete nut sometimes, especially when I started talking to animals that were passed. And I needed to say, oh my God, like, is this crazy? And then they give you signs, and then you're like, okay, well, I need that. And I need less now, but I did used to need a really lot of affirmations. Now I'm pretty confident. Like, if I messed up with my interpretation, I believe not, but I'm still talking to spirit. But anyway, soul contracts, which is our topic, so I'll try to readjust.
It's okay.
No.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is what we do. We go way off topic.
I feel like I'm being bad guest, but so soul contracts, I'll just give you my little brief, and then I believe, which I know, I can't even say I believe, I'll say that I am 100% sure in my opinion, but someone could sway my mind, so maybe, somebody else will tell me something and I'll believe their point. But how I feel is, and what I've learned from channeling and talking to my spirits, is that when we come here, everything, the Akashic Records, which the council is what helps me go channel into the Akashic Records. So basically, come to think of it, all my work is about soul contracts, because that's what's written in the Akashic Records. And what I call them is Roman. When I see them in like Roman numerals, like Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, and they all have like main topics, just like if you're writing a paper. And then under Roman numeral 1, you could have like A, B, C, and that's like the free will. But I tend to find that when I'm doing a reading and someone's Roman numeral 1 says, I'm going to come here and be a mother, and that's going to happen. So if I'm talking to a woman that's, getting a little older, and she's like 34, 35, and she doesn't have children yet, and I clearly see in her contract, that she's having children, I can clearly say, okay, well, you have it written here that you're going to have children. Like, I see it. That's part of her soul contract, because she wanted to come here, to be a mother, to experience it. It's a contract she made with herself and the children and the father, and everyone else that goes along with it. Obviously, there's a million soul contracts we have. Even if it's just a hi to someone on the street that would be a homeless man, and there's a contract. Like, there's contracts with just 1 or 2 words. There's contracts for everything, but the main topics of our soul contract. Go ahead.
Before we get too far into this, do you think we're going to stick with that woman? You're saying she's here because she wants to be a mother. Now, are you saying that it will definitely happen in this life, or is the soul contract something that will happen in her reincarnated life? Like, she'll have to keep coming back till she does it, or is it definitely this life?
That's such a great question. That's an amazing question. And I found that you're right, because time is an illusion. So know that. So when we come here in this 3D world, it's not like, oh, you're going to come in this lifetime, you're going to be a mother. No, you said you want to come and be a mother, right?
You didn't say when.
That's what.
Right.
Well, yeah, you say you want to come and try to do it now. You're going to experience. Of course, you want to do it now. Like, you always want to pass before we're born, we have all intentions to fulfill everything we wrote down. Like, we come here confident, like, oh, I'm going to pass everything. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do everything I wrote down. We come sliding in here with great hope.
Sliding,
we don't come
no pun intended.
Yeah,
but see, this is, we were sharing a brain again, Shea, because I was thinking as you were saying that, though. So I agree to an extent that I think we sign up for certain experiences during this incantation, but that's not the right word. Incarnation. Sorry. I knew what I meant. Incantation, incarnation, just go with it. But it's a test. It's a lesson. So I guess I go back to that whole free will choice. So if you signed up to have children, for example, and through free will or failing your test or whatever the case may be, you don't have children, it just means that lesson, that experience that you were supposed to have during this lifetime, you'll have to do that again. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It says that you come back and have to do it until you complete that part of the contract.
Yes, unless you rip up your soul contract, which you can do. You can extinguish it and then not do that. You can kibosh that soul contract, for sure.
So for the record, anybody that's wondering, both of you guys believe in reincarnation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because I want to make it clear to the listeners that when I say come back, that's what I'm, because my little tiny understanding of soul contract is when you're created out of poof from what in my mind would be from God, but other people believe different things. When you're somehow poof, here you are. When it comes to this topic, soul contract is what you agree to, what you want in the very beginning. And that's my limit. Like, some people believe you have to keep coming back till you fulfill the soul contract or until you get it perfect.
Right.
And that's why this is such a broad topic, because different people have different things. And obviously I believe in God, so reincarnation is a little bit harder for me. I do believe in it, don't get me wrong. So this is why it's fascinating to me, because I get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you throw it all together and I'm like, where's my head at?
But think of it like a college degree. I mean, you're not going to be able to go in and take all of your classes in 1 year.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sign up for a 4-year or for an 8-year or 12-year, whatever degree you're going, And so each experience is a grade level, and you get assigned your classes, your lessons for that time. But if you don't pass the class, you have to take it again in your second or third or fourth year.
So do you guys think, do you think there's a, you can both answer separately to this if you want. Do you think there's a maximum or minimum amount of times you're reincarnated? Or do you think once you're complete with whatever you were poofed here, we're going to use that. I'm not going to get into God or sperm. No God, no sperm. Poof, you were here. So do you think once you're completed everything you were supposed to, then we're not even going to get into where we go, but you're done? Or do we just keep coming back and back and back?
You want me to start this one?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little channeling on this one because I want a really good answer to this, so I'm going to call for some help.
It was a difficult question. It was like 6 parts, too. So.
So let me just see what I get here. So, yes, kind of like what you said. So when we're born, here's the thing. There's so many people in this world here. You walk around, and there are people that are on a soul level that is a lower soul level, and then there's advanced soul levels. Now, the more advanced soul level that you are, you've come many more times, and you've been through many tests. However, you could be in an advanced soul level, but have only come for one life because you're a higher ascended master. So you come here already an advanced soul that hasn't really had a human experience, but you're an advanced soul, but you haven't learned through the human experience. You've learned on the other side. But you've come here to awaken people or help people, and you're here for a higher purpose. And you could only be coming just for that one time with absolutely no lessons to learn. You're there to give other people lessons. You're part of their contract. Okay. You're there to awaken other people. However, you could be a higher soul, and you come to awaken people, and you might choose a lesson or maybe two lessons, nothing real significant. So it all depends on what level you are at a soul and where you are with that. Okay. So anyway, that was I asked for help on that one. So that's what they said.
Yeah. So I think we're answering kind of the same thing. Shea, we've talked a lot of times about soul evolution, and that I believe that's what we're doing. Our soul is constantly evolving. So every time we're reincarnated, we basically, like I was saying about the college, you sign up for certain classes, you sign up for certain lessons or certain tasks or experiences. The purpose of those classes is to grow, to build, to evolve our soul. When your question was, when we get to the end, what happens? Yeah. What the spirits have explained to me is that once you have gone through all of your lessons for your soul and you've reached graduation, then you start your master's program. You guys can't see,
graduation was in quotations, just so everybody knows. Yeah. Graduation was in quotations. Go on, sorry.
Then you start like your master's program. So you move on to the next step of it, which they tell me is becoming a spirit guide. So you're in more of like a one-on-one relationship with someone, helping somebody with their life path and their soul contracts and evolving their souls. But they have their classes as a spirit guide that they have to go through as well, as far as like their lessons, their growth. And then they evolve from there to the next step, to the next step.
Right. Okay. And that's exactly how I feel too. So there is school on the other side. And that could be being a spirit guide, that could be just taking classes, or it could be being like, when I channel the council, they are like headmasters. We'll call them that in a school system. They're
Dumbledore.
They run, yeah, right. They run the books of the Akashic records. They open them. They read them. And my main guide, Christopher, when I first started channeling the council, he would help me because I didn't understand their language. I didn't understand them. He doesn't have to help so much because I understand them and I'm used to them now talking, so he doesn't have to. But they talk when I talked, and I used to channel this higher spiritual being, and most of them were never born. None of the council were ever had a human life. None of them that I speak with. So they used to talk in analogies. I used to feel like I was talking to Shakespeare. I was in a play because it was so difficult, the language. But they are so, they're at the elite, but they never had a life. Now, who believes in God or Jesus Christ? Well, I do. But do I believe God came here? I believe that, yes, there's God who is an energy. So it just makes it easier for us as humans to understand, like, God is a God. So you can think of him as a person, because it's so hard for humans to wrap their head around. That's
a spirit energy.
Yeah.
Right.
But, so
the collective consciousness.
Was God, because he did come here in a physical body. But it's an energy. And that's where you hear other people talk about Gaia, the earth, or Mother Earth, and they won't believe in, so far, this God. Well, you can call it whatever you want. And again, it's how we want to tell a story, just like when you're a child and we pick up the nursery rhyme and we sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, because they can't have anything much more deeper than that. They relate. So as a human, these stories are made up. People say you made up the Bible. Well, it's made up so that we as humans can relate to it, because it's so immense when you think of God is this energy that sits above the council, that, he is the ultimate energy, but is he a person? Well, no, he's an energy. He's not a person, but we can't relate to that until we picture him as a person in human form, but it's an energy. And did he come here in a physical body? What I found and believed that energy, the main energy, did, for sure. But that's just what I hear, what I believe. And yes, I was raised Catholic, but I don't know that version of it really, because I didn't go to Catholic school or anything. I kind of did my own thing, but that's how I believe. So his spirit did have a human life, or his energy did. But wow, he had that one life, but he was the ascended so much master. I'm talking about, the highest there is. Jesus Christ, I'm talking about, like, people, if you want to make the story up, because God is Jesus Christ, but it's the same person, really, the same energy that came. So that's how I feel. And then again, soul levels continue. Now, will a soul, here's another thing that I like to find out. Like, I call these people, like, I look at these people that walk around here, and I walk through, and I live in New York City, so I walk by thousands of people. And I know I can, if I feel like playing a game, which sometimes I'll play, and I'll tune in, and I'll just channel. And I'll walk past people, and I'll tune into their energy, and I'll go, oh, that's a filler. Oh, there's an advanced soul. Oh, that's like a medium soul. Like, I can tell, because I'm tapped in, and I see, like, who's the players in the game. And the fillers are basically someone that they're kind of like this new little soul that they're just here to be a part of, like, other people's contracts. They have such little roles here in their acting, in their little human costume. So,
but every action we take, and I believe this, whether it's what you're saying or in life in general, every single tiny action I take not only affects what action I do next, but it affects everybody around me. So it doesn't matter how small, it creates a wave.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, but yeah, I was going to say wave, but yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Now, here's the thing about that. Just what you said. Because your energy, right? You're 80-something% water, your energy. You chose when you were born what sign you were going to come to because you wanted to. You chose what time you were born. You chose what sign you wanted to be in. You chose all that because that way the universe affects each human does deal with the moon, the sun, the stars, and everything else. There's some truth to that astrology number thing. Some truth to that, because of that, because it's what you chose. So that what you're saying is completely true, because being that energy that you are, because you're just energy in this human body, take this human body out, you still exist. That's why we as mediums talk to spirit, because you're still here.
Energy can't be, what is it? Energy can't be changed or destroyed.
Yeah, right.
It's infinite. Energy is infinite.
Yeah.
So because of that, your action is energy, right? So that's how come when I'm talking to a client and they want, a specific job or something, whatever. And, they ask me, am I going to get this job? And so I take a look and I see, and I say, wow, the energy looks really good, because I can, I read energy as a psychic. And I look, and to me it looks like electric, when the electric hits the ground, that thunder, lightning, whatever. So, and I see the little bumps, and it looks like it's really good. But just like you said, every action can change that energy. And not just your action, but people around you. So even though I'm looking like that energy is going to hit, something could change that. And that used to confuse me, because I'd say, as a new, like when I was younger, I'd be like, why don't I know that was before I even knew I was reading energy. I was actually doing cards then. And I was like, how come I don't know the exact outcome? I never really could figure out why, because these other, tarot card at the time I was doing, they could find out the ending. And
because of free will. Because we choose to make decisions and change little tiny things, which changes the bigger picture.
Yeah. But I couldn't figure out. I thought, I'm supposed to be a psychic. How come I don't know? And it used to frustrate me. I need to know. And that's when I realized there's some things that obviously I'm going to know, because it's already written in your contract. It's in your records. You're going to play this out, and the energy looks really high. So now I'll give a percentage, like that's an 86% or something. I see a high percentage of it. And usually if it's that high, something really has to change that energy for it not to happen, for sure.
So to both, we're way off topic, but I don't care because this is interesting me.
Well, it's still about soul contract, though. It's still there. We're still talking about it.
If you guys, again, you can both answer separately. If you both agree on if things are meant to be, like such as soul contracts, and I know, for instance, we're talking about things we can come back, but let's forget about that. Let's talk about this life. If things are meant to be in this life, do you think any action you take, as we said, it can change the outcome of something? Do you think eventually it will end up back to where it's supposed to be, or do you think it will forever change? Does that make sense?
I get what you're saying.
In this life.
I think that there's certain things that we, I always hate when people say, "Oh, it's destined, it's written in the stars." And for the most part, I think people put too much weight into that they think they don't have any control over their own lives. And for the most part, we do. We have a lot of control over our lives and what we experience because of that free will. However, there are certain things that we just cannot get out of, things that we cannot avoid.
Hold up. Just for anybody that, because I didn't explain that right. Kelly's on the same mindset as me, so she got it. I'm talking like Final Destination stuff. They outlived their death.
Yep.
So in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, parts there, they all die. So I just want to make that clear because you got it, but I don't even know if Gina understood what I meant, to be honest.
Well, maybe my answer will help kind of explain it, because what I tell people is, like, if you look at where you're at right this second and you are destined to meet your very best friend, your free will choices, think of it like the trunk of a branch. You're at the trunk of a tree right now. So you can choose this branch, which is going to be, you can use your free will to choose this path, which is going to take you directly to your best friend. And it's going to be an easy, short, it's going to happen sooner path. Or you can take this branch, which is twisty and turny and crazy, and it takes forever, and it just increased your time by 12-fold, but you still end up at the same destination.
So eventually,
kind of think of it too, or like you're going on a trip. You can choose to take the interstate. It's most direct, it's fastest, it's most convenient, or you can take the scenic route. It may be a little slower. You may hit traffic. You may get lost. But you're still going to end up at the same destination. So there are certain things that I don't think that we can avoid, but not everything. Don't put so much faith in things, guys, that you think you don't have control over your own life. You do.
Yes, I believe that. So I'm going to give you an example that I'm hearing from me to talk about. So some people some people come here and they want to be born blind because they want to go through that. They sign the soul contract. So they go through that. Okay. Some people come here, or some people say, as a child, I worked in a cancer hospital for children. But those children and the parents, they all agreed that they were going to come with this childhood, be born as a baby and have this cancer. They chose it, to fight this through. However, some people could have cancer. They could be 15, 16, 20, whatever age they are, and they have cancer. And, this diagnosis comes upon them. So was that written in their record? So it wasn't necessarily written, you're going to get cancer. That word cancer, you're going to experience acute illness. That's going to be part. They don't explain it, but you will overcome it. So it's already written that they're going to overcome it. So, but go through it. So they are, no matter what, they're going to overcome that. However, the energy that they now take on, because I'll see, okay, you're going to be diagnosed. I see this clearly. I've seen it plenty of times. But they're going to make it through. However, because of your energy, you could prolong, just like Kelly was saying, you could prolong that diagnosis, that illness, because you're not living the energy of the highest vibration, and you're prolonging it. So you could prolong it for your whole life, for sure, because you didn't live to get rid of something that you were supposed to pass of your illness. It wasn't supposed to take you. It was not. But because you, as energy, as water, you vibrated at that negativity or the energy that didn't allow you to get past it, and it lingered for you. And it might have taken you that it shouldn't have, you see. That's what I get. So that brings up another question. Do we know when we're going to die? Okay,
do you think this is a question. When people die? Or not you in general. Do you think anybody can predict when somebody's going to die?
I've heard I heard the answer for this, but I'm just going to get the answer for this because I don't want to mess this up. So hold on. So when we're born, we do come with, obviously people die at 5, 6, 7. And, obviously some babies die right away. So that's something that is in the soul contract. You're going to come, you're going to die as a baby, and you're going to go through this for your mother. You're signing up for everybody involved, right? That's the doctor, all the contracts that had to be affected with that. So you have an exit point, but there's various exit points. Some people are born and they're going to have an exit point at ABC, which would be a choice. If you're ready, your soul's going to die at A. If you're ready to go, you're going to go check out and you're going to die at A. You have point B. There's different escape routes for different souls who have different missions. So they have a choice to come and variously go and an escape point. That's what, you could have. Maybe that would also explain how you see some people, they have a life experience and they come back or something. That was an exit point that they didn't choose. They decided to come back. But some people won't even know that they went through the exit point. They got hit by the car and people thought, oh, they died, but that was an exit point that they chose to come back for. And those are experiences. However, some people do tragically die before they're supposed to die, for sure. They die before their time, even though they had an exit point. And that happens, and their soul contract was never completed. Depending on how they died, if they took their own life, they'll come right back and start living that same karma, that same soul life, right from where they picked up.
Oh, right from where they left off?
So, yeah, let me see. I just channeled. So let me just come back and talk as me right now. I know for sure that I experienced an exit point that I chose to come back from. And it was the most crazy thing that I've ever experienced, ever. And it started my spiritual awakening and changed my life, which brought me to be open about being a medium and a psychic, which I never was up until I went through that, which was only a couple years ago. I mean, I did this, but I didn't vocal. And I had a choice to come back, and I experienced it myself. And it was mind-blowing, crazy what I went through. And I came back, but I had a choice, and I was asked if I wanted to go. You could go right now. And I talked to my spirits, I talked to my guides, I talked to this energy, and I said I'm going to come back. And it was traumatic, and I came back, but I went through it. It was really crazy.
So I'm a little confused here because I'm from both of you. So I don't know how to simplify.
I have a little bit different theory, so I don't know if you want to hear that first.
Yeah, go ahead. You might have to remind me I had a question, but yes, on this, go ahead.
Do you want to ask your question first? Go ahead.
Nope. Stay on this because mine's going to go way off.
So I've heard that theory of exit points before, and I think there's probably some truth to that, but I also think that ultimately there's an end date. That if we are given those exit points prior to, and we don't take any of them, we still have an ultimate end date. And
yeah,
I don't know that we have a lot of I don't know that we have a lot of control over that. You had asked, do we know when someone's going to die? I don't know that we ourselves can ever know when we're going to die for sure until it's happening, but I have been told during readings when different people are going to be passing away. There's several
years, dates, days,
most of the time they'll give it to me in time frames. They'll tell me that, someone has about 6 months, and they don't give me exactly usually, but I'll give you an example of one time that they did, and we didn't realize it until after the fact. But I had a gal that came to me for a reading, and she was, her sister was ill. She had been diagnosed with something, and her twin sister, and she just, in her gut, she felt something else was wrong. And yes, absolutely something else was wrong, because they were treating her for like indigestion or something like that. And she had cancer. And I told him, I said, you have to go back and push, because it's more than this. And if you don't push, you're going to lose her in a couple months. But if you have to push, and you'll get more time. And throughout that conversation, I kept telling her, 9's important. What does 9 mean? 9's important. They keep saying 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, And she's like, I don't know. And she would call and periodically just give me updates on how her sister was doing. They did go back to the doctor, and they pushed, and they found out it was cancer. So she started getting treatment, and she had more time. She called me when her sister passed away on September 9th.
Oh, 9-9.
9-9. 9-9.
9-9.
Yeah. And like, there was another time where one show that I do, there's a lady that came to me every time I was there, and she'd get a reading, and I knew she'd be coming every time. And she sat down to read for me, and they told me, this is going to be the last time you're reading for her. And I didn't know at the time if that meant I wouldn't be back to the show, or she just wouldn't make it, and she didn't show up the next time. And I knew in my gut, she died. She wasn't healthy. She was older, and it's just like, but I made sure to give her extra time and attention. And we sat and we just talked, and it gave me that opportunity to basically say goodbye. So anyways, what was your question? Do you remember?
No. Well, you kind of answered it. It was just, I don't know, but now I'm thinking, anybody that knows me knows I don't really watch too many paranormal shows. Except I watched that Hollywood Medium, Tyler, that blonde, cute kid. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's Hollywood Medium with Tyler something. I've never missed an episode.
Tyler Perry? I think I heard Tyler Perry.
Tyler something like that. I'll have to
somebody in chat will know.
The show itself's called The Hollywood Medium. He reads for stars and stuff. I
know what you're talking about. I don't know what his name is, though.
I've never missed an episode of it. And I remember sitting there watching when he read Alan Thicke. And he's telling him, all of a sudden, his face changed color. And he's like, this has nothing to do with it, but I have to tell you, you need to go to the doctor. Something is up. Something in your chest. And he's like, Alan didn't want to do doctors, but he's telling him, you have to. And the guy was dead within 8 months. God rest his soul. I was a fan of his. He was dead within 8 months, and that kind of resonated with me. Like, so it is possible for people. I guess he's a physical medium. He can see ailments. No, physical is not the right word. What's the word?
He's a medical intuitive.
Maybe, yeah.
Medical.
But that's what it reminded me of. So it is possible. I don't know if I've heard people say you're going to die in 2019. Like, I don't know where they get the number from. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I don't know that I believe that they're going to just randomly tell me, Shea's going to die in this year or on this date or whatever. Because why? What's the point of telling me? Every time that they told me,
if you know,
no. And that's the whole thing. But every time that they have told me, Shea, there was a reason that they told me.
Go to the doctor, get checked out, but don't say you're going to die next week.
Right. For the twin sister, it was, you have to push her. Don't let her give up and just listen to the doctors. They're wrong. For the lady that I read for every time I was there, it was so I could tell her goodbye, For the beautiful young woman that came and sat in front of me, it was because she needed to know that her mom was going to be okay when she died. Sorry, she still gets to me, and I don't know why.
I can tell.
The older lady?
No, the young girl. She was 22, I think she said, and she was so full of light and energy, and She was dying. She was sick.
Yeah, I had one 20-something-year-old girl that came, and she just had a baby, and she had cancer. And it was horrible, terrible. It was sad for me, yeah.
I don't understand why we haven't found a cure for cancer yet.
You would think.
I mean, they're working on it, but I think a lot of it has to do with money, and if some of these places could have as much money as NFL or something, you know.
Right. How about we stop?
And I'm a football fan, so don't send me fucking hate mail about football. I love football, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you want to send hate mail about it, send it to me. I don't like football.
I haven't got hate mail in 3 weeks. I want to keep it that way.
I kind of go back and forth. Like, I used to be Eagles fan when I was home in Philly, and I'm not in Philly now, so I'm not. But if I go back to Philly, it's just something about living there. I'm a fan. I'm a football fan again. It's just the culture, for sure.
Boston, baby, all the way. You think Midwest people and New England people get in fights, man? People from New England fight over the Patriots more than anybody else.
Yeah, there's definitely a big, strong fan base up there, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that question about the dying thing, because it is something where I believe that we're all going to die, you know, when we stay or something, but it's the way we die that we have some control over. Because the way especially living in New York, I walk down the street and it's a tough city to live in, even being young, but some of the older people in New York, like, it takes a while to cross the street, you know, and these cars don't care. So I see these older people with, you know, their walkers and their canes, and they can't really walk, and they're crossing the street. So I had to ask the question, the spirit. I said, like, why do we have to watch this, like, decrepitcy of where a person becomes a lot of older people, before they pass, they become their quality of life. And I worked in long-term care, and I've worked in Alzheimer's units, and I see the debilitation. The quality of life is zero, bedridden, before they die. And so why does this have to happen, you know? Why can't they just have their exit point? And then I ask, and that doesn't have to happen. It does not have to happen. And it's getting worse as we go as a society. And people say it's getting worse because we're living longer, but that's not really it. It's getting worse because, again, we're only water and we're only energy. And yes, sometimes you feed the body some negative things, but the vibration of food and the way food is taken care of and processed, and some of the meats and some of the other foods brings with it so much of this energy that causes this decrepitness, and the energy that brings it. We're supposed to die, but we're not supposed to die that decrepit, horrible way that a lot of society die. We bring that on ourselves as humans. It's not supposed to go out that way. Oh, yes, there's, you know, aging a bit and stuff, but it's not supposed to be that way. Not at all. I've asked that question many times and got the same answer.
So you think we're living longer, but yet aging quicker, if that makes sense?
No, we're living longer. Let's just think of back in, like, as early as the 1950s, like back then, 50s. The lifespan wasn't as long. You know, the average lifespan was probably 60, 70, where now it's more of the 80s, you know, 80, 90. So it's increased 10 years over like a 40, 50-year span. And that's a lot. So we're living
longer, but living more. I'm trying to think of the PC way to put this. But once we get old, we're old. Like, I can't think of a nice way to put it. We're living longer, but suffering because of it.
But yes, the quality of life and the decrepitcy, the breakdown of the human body is pathetic. Like, you know, it's not, I've seen, and my grandma was one of them, 90-something years old. The last 3 weeks of her life, she was, you know, she got some swelling and she, organically died from her heart passing. Never really doctored her whole life, never ever did nothing, ever. And she looked amazing. She had a great soul. And it has to do with how you live. And I've asked it so many times, I now know it to be true. It's how you take care of your soul, your life, your energy, what you feed it, how you bring that body, because that's not what people signed up for sure. That's part of the free will. Yes. And pretty soon you're going to see it. You're going to see, because there's a lot of people awakening. You'll see. Maybe we won't see, but, you know, at least maybe 100 years from now, it's going to be a big difference. People are going to be living past 100 and something, and they're still going to be, you know, looking decent and walking around. Like, it's changing because there's an awakening coming. But we're seeing more of that negativity effect now, but people are starting to wake up to it.
So Mama Pat says, I think more people go through prolonged illness before they pass because we have better treatment that prolongs things. And that's kind of what I was trying to say, but I'm not as elegant as Mama is. So. No,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, what she's saying, yes, there is that factor as well, for sure. Because it's brought out where we're not going to.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, we live longer, but not so well. Like, but, you know.
Yeah, right. But that goes, again, to the fact of this whole soul contract thing, right? So because you have this, whatever disease it is, and then you get this prolonged life, does that mean your soul contract extends? No, not at all. No. That doesn't, not what it means. It means that's when you're going to die. But you didn't have to have that treatment or that prolonged thing, because there's a lot of it that we bring on ourselves. Cancer is brought on a lot of times by the person, and it's also healed by the person organically, not through any treatment or anything. It's brought on that way.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I see what you're saying.
Right.
So my analytical brain is kicking in because this is what I do. I'm very right-left brain. So
no, I get that.
Riddle me this. No. I'm just thinking. So if we didn't live as long in the past, so if, you know, in the Middle Ages we only lived to be in our 30s or God forbid our 40s, if we had a really long life, you know, you don't get as much done. It's like taking 10 credits per semester. But now that we're living to be 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, are we taking 20 or 30 credits a year? Are we not having to have as many incarnations to get our soul evolution?
That's what I'm thinking. Is it quality or quantity?
Logically, that makes sense. Logically, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm following. It took me a minute, Shea, but I'm picking up what you're putting down finally.
Question, because I did ask the health question, but let me see if I can get some answer on this one.
It's just logically that makes sense. If you can get more done in every incarnation, then you don't have to. It doesn't take as long. But
maybe
I don't know. Maybe they just.
We need to. What if? I don't even know if this fits in, but fits in somewhere in this conversation. What if I have to, for some reason, or somebody feels like my life has to be prolonged and I suffer because somebody around me is not ready to let me go?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have to suffer for 10 years, so my children would have me for 10 more years, even if I'm 90, if they're not, nobody's ever ready to lose a parent, don't get me wrong, but you know, there's different degrees. Like, does that fit in anywhere? Like, with the soul contract?
I still think there's an expiration date. When they're supposed to go, they're going to go. Now, if you save them from missing one of their, what did you call it, Gina? Their exit points? Is that what you called them? Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, if you help them move past an exit point, then maybe you prolonged it. But I still think my impression is that we have an expiration date, an ultimate expiration date.
I love this. How we're all like on the same page, but totally different pages at the same time, by the way. We have a question in the chat that we need to get about.
But we do.
It looks like we got two from Mama Pat and Anna.
We definitely have an expiration date. But, however, some people leave before their expiration date. They do. They don't fulfill waiting. Yeah.
So if they leave before they're supposed to, is that added to their next life list?
And they get to go to detention and live up their next soul contract. Oh.
All I can compare this to, I am a simile in, I forget the other word because my brain works so quick that I can't always spit out the words, which is why I say things so bad. My brain works so fast. All I can see is a video game, like leveling up. I don't even play video games, but I see it, like Donkey Kong.
And that's kind of what it is, yeah.
And then there's secret bonus levels that you don't know about, and then you're a spirit guide because you got to this next secret level, and this is what my brain does. It just goes da-da-da-da-da-da.
But it's also like Chutes and Ladders, though, Shea, because if you take the wrong path and you make a really big mistake, you get sent way back to start over in your full evolution.
We're going to get to the questions in 2 seconds. Chutes and Ladders is the most realistic game that man has ever created because it is the most tedious and boring thing in the world. And you get so excited when you get to go up the ladder a little bit, and then something comes and kicks you at your knee, and boom, you shoot right back down.
And down you go.
So I think, Chutes and Ladders is great for kids. Teach them young. That was me changing the subject, if you didn't notice. But now we have a bunch of questions.
Do you want Mama Pat's first?
Yeah, whoever.
Or do you want Anna? Okay. I think hers was first. Let me look. Yeah. Okay.
I think so too.
So she's saying that she's been a caregiver for several people who are terminal. Is it possible that their soul contract was to present the opportunity for her to handle their care with better grace?
Yes. Oh, that wasn't for me. I'm the host.
You get to answer too.
That was a yes, meaning I want to know the answer. Like, yeah, it could be. Like,
that was cute, Shea.
Sorry. Go ahead, Gina. That was for you.
I got it. Is Kelly answering this one?
You can. I'll let you go first. That's fine.
Okay, I've been the caretaker for several people with trauma. Is it possible their soul contract was to present the opportunity for me to handle their care? Well, it could have been anything. So that could have been the soul contract for you to maybe you one of your soul contracts was to learn how to give unconditional love because you're giving love to maybe somebody that, is bedridden or they have Alzheimer's. So they're not able to give back to you, but you can only give to them. So you're giving, your soul contract was you want to come here and just give love, just give. So they present opportunities for you to be able to give love for sure. So some of the people that do come here and they do have the Alzheimer's, they choose to have or go out with Alzheimer's because they have soul contracts with whoever is going to experience the Alzheimer's. Not so much for them because once they become in an Alzheimer's state, pretty much their soul's lessons because I, as a medium, I talk to people with Alzheimer's and I'll be doing a reading with someone and their mother's coming through them and at first I didn't understand until I realized if they're in Alzheimer's, I talk to them just like they're a spirit that passed. That's where their soul is for me. And I connect to them all the time. That human body's still living, but that soul is talking to me. It's in a different dimension. It changes dimensions and I can communicate just like I communicate to a spirit. But that body is there, and it's helping. If you're the caretaker or the nurse, there's a lot of contracts going on. So for sure, it's all working in unison there. Yes, for sure.
I think, and this is where the concept of soul contracts, I think, really came to me, Shea, and where it really started to make sense because nobody hate Kelly. Kelly's still a good person. I was raised
every time she says that, I usually agree with her. Same with me. As soon as they start off with, you're not going to like me, she was like, wait, I'm right with you.
I was raised as a Christian. I'm not saying that I don't believe what I was taught, but it wasn't making sense. This almighty God that makes all these decisions, who is the ultimate good. I didn't understand then how you had things like a 1-month-old baby who was beaten to death. What the hell did that baby do that they deserved that? And I struggled with that. And that's where the soul contract finally made sense to me because that's what that baby signed up for that time.
See, that's
Not
why I
to
don't agree with soul contracts. But go on.
Yeah, but hang on. It
Yep.
wasn't for that baby to experience. What that soul had signed up for that time is, okay, my job in this incarnation is to help you, parent, learn the lesson.
Right.
So so it was the person who killed the baby, God forbid, had a lesson that they needed to learn. But they needed a soul that was willing to make that sacrifice to help somebody else's soul evolve.
So it's like
taking one for the team.
Meeting, and you see the checklist of the shit you really don't want to do, but you got to pick something, and you're going to say
somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to do it.
Everybody's got to clean up after a party, and somebody has to clean that toilet. Nobody wants to do it, but somebody's going to take one for the team, and they're going to do it. And that's where the soul contract finally went. Okay, that makes sense. So yes, I think sometimes that people are brought into our lives specifically not for them to just learn their own lessons, but to teach us lessons too.
Yeah.
My youngest son is special needs. I know some people know that. And I wasn't always, I'm still not, but I really wasn't a very patient person. And I very much so think that he was given to me to help me learn patience, because I need to have patience with him. And I am more patient, and that's what he helped me with.
Does he have a diagnosis, Kelly?
He has a cognitive learning disability.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a good little guy. He's very high functioning. He's 13. I call him little guy. He stands like 2.5 inches taller than me. But he's very high functioning, and I couldn't and wouldn't change him for the world. But I went through all of that, the what did I do wrong? Why? And this is where I even now I hesitate saying it because I feel like a horrible person. But what I thought at times when I was stressing, what did I do wrong that I was given this challenge, but it wasn't that I did anything wrong. It's that we were meant for each other.
Yeah. Well, I work with, my doctorate degree is with autism, sensory, and children with disabilities. So that's my full-time job. And I remember working with children with learning disability, and I still do, and nonverbal, a lot of nonverbal autistic children. And obviously, I talk to their spirit. So to me, they're functioning, because it doesn't matter how they're acting. I can communicate with them. And I'm not able to tell all my parents that, because they'll be like, get the weirdo doctor out of here. And
right,
but a lot of my parents will figure it out, because I'll be like, oh, he's going to walk at this age. Like, they're like, oh, you're the best therapist. Like, how did you know that? You knew when he was going to walk, when he was going to talk, and you knew everything. Like, you're the best therapist ever.
Right.
And I'm thinking, yeah, right. Well, I'm not the best therapist because my paperwork's all late and this and that. But that is what I found from talking to these children, because I talk to them, and even though they're 2 or 3, the soul that I'm talking to, their higher self, obviously talks, like, I understand. And they told me that after I've talked to hundreds of children. And that's what they all said. We come here for that. And my last show was just on children with disabilities. I just on Girls versus Ghosts. I want to just add something about animals real quick. This is something about a soul contract. Facebook and Instagram crashed a couple days ago, right? And it was detrimental to me, because I was like, I can't be on Instagram. Oh my God, like, I'm going to miss the show. Like, how about if it's not on tomorrow? How am I going to contact everybody? I don't have anybody's real phone number. Like, I'm like, so anyway, I was freaking out. So then I was scrolling through Facebook, because that happened to come on first. And I was trying to figure out what's wrong with Instagram. So I put a post about anyone else. And I was scrolling to see if anyone wrote it. And I have not even been active on Facebook for, I don't know, I repost things, but I haven't been active. I've been more of an Instagram person, because on Facebook, I just hadn't want to see a lot of the things that would randomly pop up. But anyway, so what did I have to see the first time was this horrible thing. This cute little black and white dog was wagging his little tail, and this rotten, I'm not going to curse, this da-da-da-da-da, cut its paw off. And the poor dog picked up its paw. It was the worst, and I couldn't unsee it. Well, if it didn't set me off, I just thought, and I just started talking to my cat. You know, everyone knows I started off, well, if you don't know, I was the pet psychic on Rescue Inc. That was my first thing. I talked to, animals. So that was my first real psychic job. So I started talking to the cat, communicate to my cat. And I asked, what was their soul contract? And I said, how come I get more upset when I watch that dog? And I've worked in children's hospital and saw a lot of abuse, and it did upset me. But I said, how come I get more upset about that dog? I couldn't figure it out. So I got an answer. And the fact is, when the animal, the soul of the animal, chooses to come here, just like a lot of children with autism, but to more of an extent with an animal, especially a domestic one. So why they come here with no ego. They come here as pure love. That soul came here to not do anything but give. Pure love. They came here pure love. And being an empath, watching that destroyed me because I understood that soul came here in all love with no ego, no lesson. They're not learning. They're just here to give. And that's why that hurt me so much. So I some people won't believe that the animal has a soul, but I clearly know that to be true. That's one of my 90% I believe things.
Yeah, we touched on this last night. That I think Kelly and I both agreed last night that animals most have souls, right,
Yep.
Kel?
Absolutely.
I don't
Absolutely.
wanna speak for you, but yeah, we.
Nope. Brain share.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Do we want to move on to Anna's question?
Yes, because she's been very patient. You want to read it because I don't quite understand it.
Yeah, that's fine. Short answer, Mom. Yes, absolutely. I think that people are brought into our lives to present opportunities. Long-winded answer to give that short answer. But yeah, we had lots to say. Okay, Anna. She's saying, I was wondering how to hear your spirit guides better so they can so you can pass their class, and will they still be there for you? And what do energies get from flushies, and how do we keep giving them energy so they're here for us? Okay. I think I get it because Anna is one of my students, and so I get what she's asking.
I'm not fully on board with the whole spirit guide thing. I'm still learning, so it doesn't, me.
So I think she's asking one thing, how do you, there's a lot of questions in there. I think she's asking, how do you better hear your spirit guides? And Anna, if I'm wrong on this, sorry, but I think she's saying if the spirit guide would pass their class, will they still be there for you? And then, so let's answer those, and then we'll go back to the second part of her questions. So, the whole communicating with your spirit guides thing, I don't know that we even want to get into that this show, do we?
A short answer.
Do you want to go first, Gina?
Okay. So, how do you know your spirit guides are there? That's definitely, I'm going to shorten all parts of this question. That's definitely, I am still learning my spirit guides. I still question them. I still want to know. I had one of my spirit guides showed me physically twice, but it's not easy, and I still question, and I don't even know all of my spirit guides now. I only know two, three if I, who is one of my angels. But anyway, it takes a while, and I ask for signs. So if I get lost or confused, I talk out loud, and I say to my spirit guide, I say, listen, I'm really confused about this. I'm going to need a sign. And if you follow my Instagram, my signs are crazy. So I said, I'm going to see a crazy sign with a bird. And then a whole flock of seagulls fly over. And I go, I don't know if that's true. And then I look on the ground, there's a sticker of a seagull. So you know that they're there by asking them questions, stepping in for help, and then asking for a sign. And they'll manifest, they'll show you a sign. That's just one way, just real quickly. I want to get through the question. And the second thing is, are they going to always be there for you? Well, your spirit guides they signed the contract to be with you, your main spirit guide.
Exactly.
When you're going through different things in your life, other guides will join you for a short period of time, or angels. They could sign up, they're coming because you're going through, maybe you're going through some tragedy with, just per se, you're going through something where you're selling your house. well, there's certain spirit guides that are able to come help you and help you through this. There's, that's just a simple one. Or, you're going through anything so simple as, like, right now you're all stressed out because you broke up with your boyfriend. Well, there's certain spirit guides that are going to come help you, or angels, to give you love. So there's ones that are assigned to you forever, and there's ones that come in just because they're like the floater spirit guides. They're not really assigned to one person, but they go where needed. And the same thing with angels. So that's what they do. They float around. They're not specifically assigned. And I find them to be higher spirit guides, more advanced. They're more of a higher level. So that's what I think that is, right? That's
yeah. And I would say, Anna, for spirit guides, how do you hear them better? It's kind of like we talked about at the retreat, is just really opening yourself up to them and taking the time to listen to them and to hear their messages. When I first was starting out, I used a lot of the guided meditations to talk to the spirit guides. And even now, when I teach classes, sometimes I'll still use those guided meditations because I think they just help. I think it's a huge helper. And honestly, I'll ping you after the show too. I think I was talking to someone about doing like an advanced retreat for some of these things. But as far as, what does a spirit do when, oh, nope, I'm reading the wrong question. What if they pass their class? Will they still be there for you? I don't think spirit's going to do that to you. They wouldn't assign you a spirit guide who halfway through your life is going to graduate and move on. They'll make sure that you're paired well. So you would both graduate at the same time, maybe just from different classes. You'd graduate from this experience. They would pass from their experience. So the second part of her question is, what do the energies get from fleshies? She means people, humans, from this experience, I believe. Because I always remember I say they're just surrounded by fleshiness, or if they've lost their fleshiness. And how do we keep giving them energy so they're here for us? It's not that we have to pay them for being here for us. It's what they've agreed to do this time around, is my belief. So what they get is their soul is continuing to evolve as well. So I think it's a give and take between both of us.
Before we get on to the next question, Aaron just asked, and I'm skipping only because it has to do with this. Do you know how many spirit guides are originally assigned to you? It varies, doesn't it, for each person? There's no set number. All right. Yeah,
it really does. I mean, you get like your one primary that Gina was saying, but then also, like she said, you have, I call them reserves. What did you call them? Yeah, you had a name for them too. What did you call them, Gina?
I call them floaters.
Floaters.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know that we have any specific set number like you're going to max out at 10, but yeah.
It just depends on what you need.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm still, like, I'm unclear. I know that I have my main spirit guide, Hector. He doesn't really talk so much to me. He's more of a protector. He's the one who physically shown himself to me twice. I have Christopher, but his main reason with me is to channel. Like, he helps me channel. So, and then I have Anna, and Anna is my main angel who's with me. And I have others, and for some reason I haven't seen or met them yet. And maybe I'm not ready. And then this is true too. Sometimes we don't meet them all till we're ready. Like, I knew of Hector for a long time, but Christopher was more recently, and Anna, before I even knew I could talk to angels or angels existed, did I even know about her. So they come even when you're intuitive. Sometimes they don't even tell themselves to you. It's hard to find. It's definitely a process, and it's all in time. And they will never reveal themselves unless you ask and seek them. They're always there, but you need to ask for the help. Ask, because you're here in your free will, and they're not going to butt in and step in on your toes. You need to ask them. So then they'll show you and guide you. It is amazing, the guidance they give you. And amazing. Amazing. And the better you get at it and the more awake you are and aware, I never go through a day without help or a sign 20 times a day.
Yeah.
For sure. And again, being a medium since birth and very empathic, this is not easy even for me. I mean, it's something you have to continually work at and practice and learn and grow, for sure. And it helps to have a counselor.
I saved the best for last.
All right.
Unicorn killer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so the unicorn killer's question kind of goes back to something we were talking about before.
This is the last question, because this is not going to be an easy answer either, guys. And we're already at an hour and a half, so. He's
saying, but can science force a spirit to live past the exit point? Will that spirit, when they do exit, become spoiled, for lack of a better word, because it did not leave at the correct time? Like keeping milk beyond its expiration time.
You want me? I could channel this answer. I don't know this answer. You want me to take this?
I'm not answering it.
We can both if you want. That's fine. I mean, I kind of talked to it earlier, but
go ahead, Kelly. You answer it, because I would have to channel this. I don't know it offhand.
So it was kind of like I was saying earlier that there may be those exit points that we can choose to take, or that could potentially happen. And yeah, if we hit one of those exit points, and so go back to the example of the sisters. You know, the twin sister who was dying, she hit one of her exit points, and had she not sought treatment, she would have taken that exit point. But because they went and they got the science, the medicine, the science, she was able to live longer. But still, I believe, my understanding, my truth, is that a soul, we have an alternate expiration date for this incarnation. And if we don't take any of the exit points before we get there, it will happen at this time, science or not. I think.
You want me to answer?
I don't know.
Let me see what I get. Hold on for a second. So, some people, humans, when they're born, they do have exit points, because they say, okay, I may be done by then, because nobody wants to come here for too long. So, we're coming down here, and it's not something we're joining up for. So the soul says, give me an exit point here, here, and here, because I might be done by then. Hopefully I'm going to be done by then. That's what we're really saying, hopefully. But then we get to that exit point, and, it's like we're not done. And like I said, I came to one. And you're not done. You want to go because you didn't finish it. You didn't finish what? You want to do it? You want to do it? It's like, I'm going to stay. You choose. But not every soul comes with at several exit points. Some souls come with, this is when I'm going to go. Like Kelly was saying about the baby. That baby, there was one exit point. That was it.
Right.
There wasn't a choice. That was one exit point. So is there a prolonged science and medical one? No, there's not. Science doesn't prolong your exit point. That science and the weakening, there's the free will and how we bring that apart, some of the suffering that could have been stopped. But that exit point was still in place, but you weren't necessarily supposed to go out all decrepit and falling apart. Some of that is some of the free will, but your exit point was still in place. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I think we're definitely saying the same thing.
You guys are. You guys word things very differently, but I'm listening to both, and you're pretty much on point, guys. You're pretty much saying a lot of the same stuff here, which I find always goes back to my belief in terminology. We just use things differently, and if we would just sit back and listen to people, we would get along better. But I lied.
Well, Mama Pat said the same thing, too, if you saw her comment that she made.
No, I didn't.
Because she says, it's amazing to me how consistently various mediums have been shown the answer to similar questions.
I always say it about paranormal investigators because that's what I am, but I see it in you guys too. Like
Yeah.
different class people. You guys are mediums. No. One more quick question.
Like,
Hopefully
I
quick.
never did answering text messages. People always like, why were you mad at me? I'm like, I just can't text.
Yeah. I'm a horrible keeper and toucher. Horrible. How do you know Wolf wants to know, how do you know if you have a spirit guide?
Everyone has one. So
Everybody does. Yep.
How do you know? How do you find it?
How do you, well, you have one, so you already know, but how do you know the presence of a spirit guide? Okay. Or
Tomato.
First of all, just believe and trust that you have that spirit guide. And again, if you want to be more in touch with the spirit guide, you first got to believe and become aware. And once you believe and become aware, they get very excited. They're like, oh, finally, the soul's awakening.
Yay, they hear me. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. And they want to show you, and they're going to jump at showing you however they can. And it's funny because I briefly spoke about this on one of my shows, but aid-porting. I have had amazing aid-ports happen in my life from spirit. Amazing, like mind-blowing aid-ports. So depending on
what is an aid-port?
It's something that a spirit can bring into your physical world and bring to you. And I had crazy ones. It's too much to get into now, but
okay.
I talk about them briefly. But back to this, depending on the energy of that spirit, the signs that they can show you are mind-blowing, what they can show you. The more you give energy, the more they become aware, and depending on the level and the energy of your guide, what it is that they can show you. But it starts with believing and becoming awake and aware. And once you believe and become awake and aware, possibilities are endless.
So you have to kind of open up to the idea. You have to believe in the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accept signs.
It's kind of like one of these, I remember my grandma years ago, she used to call it mind over matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like your body, these marathon runners, they just keep running. They believe they can do it, mind over matter. They keep going. So the more they believe, the more they can push the body. So the more you believe in the mind, the more that they're going to reveal and show you. It's just believing. Believing is the first thing, and then the rest is easy. But first you got to believe.
There is a lot of belief, Wolf. I mean, but do know that everybody has a spirit guide. And the first, when I start talking to people about spirit guides, think of all the times that your subconscious kicks in. I mean, have you ever had experience where like you're about to step off a curb and for some reason you think, I better look again, and here comes a car speeding along down the road? You're going to pass that off to just luck. That was your spirit guide whispering in your ear, don't step out right now, and protect you. Yeah, it is somewhat intuition too, but it's also, I mean, that's how they talk to you. But absolutely everybody has a spirit guide, at least one. And again, kind of like I said with Anna's, if you're not used to communicating with them or hearing them, start with a guided meditation. Guys, go out to YouTube, type in guided meditation spirit guide, and 100 million different options are going to pop up for you guys. And pick one and listen to it and let yourself be open to connecting with them. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's muscle memory for that as well, because it's the same thing as like playing an instrument. Nobody does it naturally the first time, but the more you practice, the more muscle memory it becomes to you. And then it's very easy at that point to be able to hear them.
Yeah, for sure. I
thought it was Wolf. I'm sorry, Erin. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just scrolling back through chat, and I'm like, oh, shoot, that wasn't Wolf that asked that. That was Erin.
Yeah, it was. Sorry. That was
it?
Wolf. Yeah.
Was
Erin
it Wolf?
asked a similar one, but that was Wolf's, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Wolf
Good
asked,
God.
how do you know? You're right.
I'm not keeping up. Sorry.
No. Well, Roland just
Oh,
wrote
they're
the
asking the
story.
same thing. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was distracted by Roland's story.
Roland has a story?
Yeah.
I
Did it
missed
not
something.
pop up in your chat yet?
I may just have to keep scrolling up. I was staying on where the comments were so I could. Oh, yeah. See, I've missed a whole lot of stuff. Oh, hey. Oh, look. Okay. Okay.
That's
keep going.
what I do. That's why I miss things too. I stay on the question that I'm supposed to ask, and then every once in a while I scroll up and be like, shit.
There's Encyclopedia Mama Pat coming through again. Did you see that? Parapsychology and spiritualism. An aport is the alleged paranormal transference of an article from one place to another, or an appearance of an article from an unknown source.
So, like, if a unicorn shows up, I meant acorn, but unicorn because of Roland. Like, if something just shows up out of the blue.
If a unicorn shows up out of the blue, I want to be there and keep rolling the hell away from it.
Wow.
Is that what that means?
Kind of. I mean, I don't know. I'd almost say that it's similar to what Gina was saying about her signs, you know? If she's saying, show me a sign, and she sees the seagulls, and she's like, I don't know if I trust that, and then there's a seagull sticker that she sees. What's the chances of that? Come on.
Like, I put this on my Instagram, too. It was right before my first Girls versus Ghosts show, and I was nervous. And I said, I was down my river here on the East River, and I said, okay, Grandma, Brian, Council, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm going to do this show. Are you guys coming with me? It was the night before my show. I go, I need a crazy bird sign. I need to know. Grandma, Brian's my best friend, who passed away this year, and Grandma raised me. And I was like, are you guys going to come? And I'm in New York City, okay? A flock of seagulls fly over my head. Now, Grandma and Brian died at the beach, and my grandma loved it. The flock of seagulls fly over my head, and two of them I videotape this, it's on my Instagram. Two of them keep landing in front of me and squawking, landing in front of me on the railing as I walk down the East River. Two of them, Grandma and Brian, squawking, while a flock of them are overneath me. And I go, oh my God, is this really a sign, or am I crazy? I said, Grandma, I need a little more sign, just because I'm nervous. And I look down, on the ground is a sticker of a seagull. You can't make this up. And I put it on my Instagram for anyone listening that wants to see. That was a crazy sign, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Mama Pat says, Gina, wouldn't a feather be an aport, just for instance?
Yeah.
It could be, yes, for sure, it could be, yes. It could be. And it's funny because I get feathers. Obviously, I have crazy feather stories on my Instagram, like amazing crazy feather stories. And my grandmother used to set her hair in bobby pins. I have a lot of those stories where she'll put the bobby pin when I'm nervous. Now the safety pin and the paper clip are from my guides. And the safety pin tells me I'm going to be safe, and the paper clip tells me, hold it together, it's coming together, hold on, hold it together. And I get those all the time. So I was telling my grandmother, I go, I love these bobby pins, Grandma, I love these signs, but can we have some cash? Like, can we aport some cash, Grandma? You know, because I really need some cash. And she hasn't come through with the cash. So besides the penny or the random dime, I'm like, can we, aport a few thousand here? So I'm wondering, like, how much energy do they have? Because there's a lot of aport stories I can have that have been crazy, but no one's aported me the cash yet. So if any of my guys are listening,
right?
Let's aport.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Got that? Yeah, I don't know why not, because I've gotten plants, I've gotten cards, I've gotten swords, I've gotten posters, I've gotten bed frames, I've got the craziest stuff, but no, and I keep asking for the cash. I don't get it. Maybe someone out there has.
Because we're not supposed to ask for things that are self-serving. I hate when we get the question, they're like, well, if you're really a psychic, what are the lottery numbers? Why haven't you won the lottery yet? Well, because that's not why they gave us this ability, you guys.
You know what? I used to watch that. I used to say, how come I can't get the lottery? So, and I asked that question. I'm like, how come? And then, I heard someone say, well, it's random. The numbers are drawn and you can't know that before. I go, well, how come I can't read the paper? What's going to happen tomorrow? Why can't I read the paper and see the numbers? How come I can't remote the so there's some things I'm still not clear on yet.
Well, and I think it's kind of twofold. I mean, getting information about ourselves is one of the hardest things, in my opinion. But also, we're not supposed to use it for our own personal gain. I mean, out of bounds, So I don't know.
That makes sense. Because
all right, I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, you're fine. I don't know. That's just always my thought, but I hate that question, and I know that it's like because we host those expos, so there's 4 or 5 of them a year now, and every single time at least one person's going to ask that question. Well, you can win the lottery.
But it makes sense why it didn't happen. Why is it again? Because we're not supposed to use it for our personal gain?
Because it's not part of our life path. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if we really could do that, I mean, come on. How many people would not go out there and use it wrong and then not be using it to help other people? And
I'd be one of them. I'd be one of the I'd be abusing it. So I guess that's why they didn't give it to me. I'd be like, yep, number tomorrow, 5324. That's it.
How about I set a limitation on it? If I say, well, I only want to win enough to pay off my student loans, is that okay? Yeah. It's not truly greedy.
Yeah. I'm still working on that, everybody. I don't know. I haven't given up to the fact that I'm not going to do it. So.
Yeah, it's just too funny. It's too funny. I was laughing. What? Sorry, go ahead.
That makes sense, though. I guess it's part of the journey. It's the reason we didn't get it because it was part of the journey for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense. I don't say I like the answer, but it makes sense.
Well, no, I don't know that I like the answer either. But if we're supposed to experience poverty, for example, then if we all of a sudden have a lot of money, we've just completely missed our life path. So,
that's what they keep telling me. They keep telling me that because I obviously lost my medical license. I talk about this for a while. I got it back now, but I thought I had to experience this. And they said, yes, haha. And I'm like, okay, that's why. And if they let me hit the lottery, I wouldn't have experienced it. So I get it, Kelly. You helped me. No.
There you go.
That's good. It's all the journey.
And, I think it's funny because along all of this path, we're going to continue to learn. We're going to continue to... There's always new stuff that I'm learning. And like we were saying, I think way back, I can't remember if it was before the show started or it was right as it started, but, we're always open to hearing other opinions and we may change our mind on things. So I think we just have to keep listening and learning and growing and evolving. Yeah.
I definitely, I changed my mind on even me, who I am. I changed my mind. I've been a person that I didn't even like when I look back on some of the things and things I did. I'm like, I don't like me who I was then. I don't like me now.
Well, but you were that person and you went through those experiences because you needed to learn. Had you not gone through that, had you not been that person, you wouldn't have had those experiences. And then guess what? You get to do it again. So, I think most definitely we have to go through certain things, good, bad, and ugly, to be able to have all of the experiences during our experience that we're supposed to. So, Sherry, see, this is what I get for looking at your comment, your question as I was answering you. I think we answered all of Roland's questions. Well, let me rephrase that. We haven't begun to answer all of Roland's questions, but for the questions he's posted in chat, I think so.
We could have him on once a month and we wouldn't answer all of Roland's questions. And I'm not complaining. I'm teasing him. I like him, but he makes me think. And that goes back to what Gina just said. I came in at the end of it, but I listen to people, even if I don't agree with them. And sometimes I change my mind. I learn things and I adjust my thinking. I adjust my beliefs to what I learned yesterday. And tomorrow I might think something else. So, all right, guys, I think our hour-long show is never just an hour.
Never.
And that's, again, not a complaint, just an observation. Nope. You know, it's sometimes it's hard to fit everything into an hour. So this is a subject, again, we could talk for 3-4 hours and we wouldn't even be close to being done. You know,
Yeah.
You want some shout outs?
Yeah. Yes. Mama Pat, exactly. We're all the sum of our experiences. Oh, Roland. It better be a quick one or I'm ignoring you. No.
Well, I'm going to go through a shout out.
While he's typing, you do shout outs.
Well, we get up there. All right. So we have Miss Kim, which may have gone to bed, it looked like. And then, of course, Shea.
She's been so sick.
Yeah. Miss Bree was in there for a little bit. Matt and Gina. And Wolf. Scrolling. There's got to be music while I scroll. Joanna McCool.
It's hard to
Miss
scroll.
Luna dropped in for just a little bit.
Yeah.
And KPRS. Thank you,
That's
Erin.
Aaron.
Otherwise, I just make weird noises. That's why I sing. Mallory was in there. And, of course, we had Mama Pat, Miss Cynthia, Roland. I think. Oh, Anna.
Yes.
It's Anna Marie. I think now I maybe have everybody.
We had over 150 comments, so if we missed you.
There's a whole lot of comments, yeah.
Yeah. If we missed you, that is why. But that's why I do it in the beginning and the end, because I don't want to miss if somebody. I know a lot of our listeners aren't even in chat, and I appreciate whether you're in chat, not in chat, whether you listen live, don't listen live. But
oh, no way, that's awesome. I just saw for the first time, if I scroll down to the bottom and I'm scrolling back up, they put a little line in for me that says new messages. Those are the ones I haven't seen yet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, phenomenal. Sorry. It's the little things in life that excite me.
Sprinkle changes things, and I learn new things all the time. I went from, I ran 2 shows, and then as of August, I started running shows. In August 17th, I started running my own show. And then all of a sudden in October, I had a network. So I've learned a lot in the past 5 months since October.
You've been doing amazing.
That's fast track. Fast track.
Yeah, it's hard. Oh, Roland, I love Roland. Roland says, Chef, I always learn from the answers. Well, I can only answer questions that I'm asked. So my answers are because of what you ask me and what you make me think of. Not just him, but everybody in general. And you could ask me the same question again tomorrow, and I might have a different answer because my beliefs, my experiences change what I think. But I always do the best I can. I'm just honest.
Yep. So, I'm always going to share what my truth is. It doesn't mean that it's anybody else's truth, but it's my truth. I'm going to start
using that. I am, because I love that.
Yeah.
This is my belief. This is my truth. Doesn't mean that it's your truth, but it's my truth. That's, So, Gina, why don't you throw out some of your social media where people can find you, what you have coming up?
Okay. I will be at SalemCon April 6th. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'll be with Weird Weekends. June 22nd is the big Weird Weekends event. And that's like a psychic gallery with a lot of people. Like, I am pretty new into this whole world with all you guys. So there's a lot of people that know everybody that's going, but I will be one of the new people. And I have briefly chatted with Ken Boggle and Stephanie Hutnick, although I haven't met either one of them in person. they will be there. And my Instagram is psychic_medium_Dr Gina, and my Facebook is Gina Marie, and my Twitter is FitPlus11, and I think that's about it. I'm on Girls vs. Ghosts Media, and my show is usually Monday night on Blog Talk Radio.
Yours is yours at 9 or 7:30? Who's this?
Stephanie is at 7:30. I'm at 9. We're actually off this weekend, this Monday, because Charlotte's away, and usually it's Monday night.
I knew one was at 7:30 and one was at 9. I just couldn't remember
I think
who
I'm
was first.
I think I'm the only one that's doing a show next week, but I had Josh scheduled, so I'll just run the platform. But otherwise it's a quiet week for GBG.
Yeah. Well, I've had a great time on with you ladies. Thank you so much for having me on. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
And thanks to all the new listeners out there that might not know me for listening to me. And thank you. It was great. I had a lot of fun.
I did too. I like
talking
about things that I don't know. Kelly, you have anything in the next week or so you want to throw out there?
Well, next weekend, of course, is HauntACon in Omaha. That's March 23rd, and that is going to be a huge event. She's got some really awesome people coming in. So we've got Dustin Perry, Ryan Beal, Dan Klass, Coyote Chris Sutton, Josh Hurd with Melbourne Manor, Johnny Hauser with Velisca.
I just saw Kelly and I are sitting the same exact way. That is so funny. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, we are, aren't we? Miss Charlotte is going to be there representing Girls vs. Ghosts. And all sorts of different paranormal teams and people selling their wares. There's 2 different classrooms running. There's a keynote speaker room that's amazing, and then there's a classroom that's got all sorts of different topics going on. So that's March 23rd in Omaha at the Sokol Auditorium, I believe it's called. And then I really need to have a list in front of me so I don't have to do this every show. April 6th, I have an intuitive retreat at the Granger House here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I do still have a few spots open for that. This will be my first time doing it there. It's a haunted Victorian museum now, but it used to be an upper end middle class house. Gorgeous. It is so pretty, and I'm super excited to get in there. Well, I've been in there, but to do a retreat, this will be my first retreat there. And then we have the Dubuque Psychic and Paranormal Expo coming up April 13th and 14th in Dubuque, obviously. We'll have about 60 vendors, and we'll have, again, Dan Klass is coming to that one, and Mike Ricksecker will be at that one, and then we'll have all sorts of readers, healers, gems, crystals, all the fun stuff that we always talk about will be there. And again, free presentations throughout the weekend. So that's my next month. Plus podcasts on Wednesdays and Fridays with you. And I have class coming up on Monday. We'll be doing tarot cards. I was going to teach tarot cards last month and we had a snowstorm, so I canceled. So I just rescheduled tarot cards for this month. I don't know. I can't remember.
I was looking at the Salem Con one. I was going to go to that. Except I think my damn daughter's graduating on it's a play or it's something big that I can't miss. I forget what it is right now, but I will be in Maine on June 1st at the Maine Paracon. Chris Sanders is doing it. I don't even know what it's called. It's right in front of me. Maine Paracon, June 1st, 2019. So I don't have too much in front of me, but that will be fun. We have our table there. And then right after that, in Gettysburg with Miss Kelly.
I was going to say, I am sure there's things in between then and now, but I am super stoked that I get to actually meet you in person finally. In Gettysburg, of all places, Gettysburg. Yes.
Gettysburg. I'll be in Gettysburg on the 23rd for some event too. I'm starting my first time.
Really? You're there the week after us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there.
This is the metaphysical and paranormal something. I can't remember. But
yes.
I'm just like, I thought Gettysburg would be close to Philadelphia. And I look it up and it's like 6 hours from me in New York. I'm like, geez, I thought Gettysburg was like Pennsylvania, not knowing that it's Pennsylvania. It's way up there.
Yeah, it's like where we're going is like 8 hours from me, so it's quite the drive. All right, so let's see. We'll end the show. I'm horrible at doing this. Yes, Mama Pat, I am going to Gettysburg. Nicole and I will be there with our friend Kerry from Spirit Trackers. We're going for 5 days, so it'll be awesome. Can't wait. Yay! Yes. There is no show tomorrow night. Miss Peggy Gypsy has tomorrow off, so I will be back with the beautiful psychic Jen B Sunday night, 8 p.m.
Who dropped into chat, by the way.
Yes, I did.
Snuck in there.
8 p.m. 7 Central, and we'll be talking about shadow people. One of my favorite subjects to talk about, actually, believe it or not.
When is that show? I'd like
Sunday
to hear
at
that
8.
show. This Sunday?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you think Shea and I are crazy, wait till you get Shea and Jen on the phone together, because, man,
I know. Yeah.
Jen's a hoot. I love Jen.
Yeah,
We
Jen
need to
and
do
I-
a show with 3 of us again, because, nothing like completely going batshit crazy.
The last time you, Jen, and I did a show, the show ended, and the conversation with the person that was running the show lasted like another hour and a half. Like, we stopped the show. It wasn't live anymore, but we all kept going.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's my final show of introspection. We called it the after
That was
party.
awesome.
It was.
It was awesome.
Yes, the 3 of us together. Have to come up with a good subject. Guys, start letting us know, what should Kelly, Sherry, and Jen B talk about?
Actually, I think I have an open date on my show. Maybe I should bring you guys on to my Wednesday show. Let me check my calendar. You know what? We're totally straying off course. Shay and Jen, I will talk to you guys after the fact, and because I think I've got a date I needed to fill. So yeah, that would be awesome.
I think the shadow people, I don't know. I've never heard much about it or talked to it. It's like very new, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, shadow people. Yeah, it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about, because my beliefs on shadow people tend to be, as of all my beliefs, tend to be very different when it comes to paranormal than other people. Okay, here, this is when I go click buzz, because same way I am horrible at ending phone calls until I hang up. Good night, everybody. Gina, Kelly, stay online for a second.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Friday.
We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Good
Thank
night.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and for all things Paranormal Buzz Radio related, check out our website at paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.